From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us on the Noon News. I'm Andrea Lutz. The Labor Day weekend, it is finally here. So what is in store for your weather? Well, we're going to hear from our Miller Robson in just a little bit. But first, search crews in Glacier National Park are narrowing their search for a missing woman seen last around Logan Pass. Here's today's leading look. They are searching for Jennifer Coleman, who was last seen August 30th or the 31st. She has blonde hair and blue eyes, and today Flathead Search and Rescue along with 2 Bear Air will continue their search. Rangers found her car in the parking lot at Logan Pass. Montana's unemployment rate is looking pretty good, now sitting at 3.6%. There were more than 3,300 jobs that were added in July. 2,900 of them were in the food service industry. Leaders in Mineral County are expressing complete surprise and shock over this week's announcement that the Idaho Forest Group is closing its sawmill in St. Regis, throwing 99 people out of work. The company suspending operations because of a declining lumber market. And to help victims from Hurricane Ida, Cajun Fatties in Billings is raising money for the Cajun Navy. That's a volunteer group assisting with search and rescue efforts. Well, the owner of the restaurant is also working to get food, water, and fuel down south. In fact, she's a Louisiana native, so for her, seeing the devastation really hits home. That's today's leading look.
Well, you know, the latest drought monitor came out yesterday, and we can still use a lot of moisture. If you're lucky, you're seeing rain today, central parts of Montana over to the eastern part, and that's going to be about it. As we go along, it'll move off to the east. You'll notice our highs today in the 60s and 70s. This will be our final, quote, cooler day. We are going to warm up as we get across the long holiday weekend, but the 6 to 10 day temperature trend, well, we're either 60 to 50 to 40% chance or reverse that 40, 50 or 60% chance. Either way you look at it, we look like we're going to be leaning towards being warmer. You extend that out into the middle of September, a 33 to 40% chance we could be warmer than average, but off to our west, we could be near normal. Now, I say we're dry for the weekend. Do we have any rain in the forecast? I'll let you know coming up.
I'm Katie Miller in Missoula. When law enforcement is involved in a shooting or other fatal incident, the case is oftentimes turned over to an outside organization to do the investigation. The Montana Department of Justice says as of Wednesday morning, they're investigating 2 cases out of Missoula County. They also they're starting to see an increase in cases like this from the whole state.
These are very complicated cases. They require a tremendous amount of resources and investigative work.
On August 29th, the Missoula County Sheriff's Office says a man died after swinging around a machete and making threats. He was shot by a deputy near the Deep Creek fishing access on Southside Road after multiple non-lethal attempts to de-escalate the situation, according to law enforcement. DCI confirmed with MTN News that 2 deputies involved are on administrative leave. On August 12th, 21-year-old Brendan Galbraith died after an encounter with the Missoula Police Department that ended near Stevens Avenue after a high-speed pursuit. MPD says as of Wednesday morning, the officer involved is still on administrative leave. The Division of Criminal Investigation says these 2 critical incidents are part of an alarming national trend.
I have seen statistically rising levels of these happening.
DCI tracks all in-custody events, including officer-involved shootings and suicides in front of an officer. Instances are going up. 4 statewide in 2012, up to 21 in 2020, and 18 so far this year.
I certainly hope we don't have any more ever, but the reality says that I'm wrong.
DCI investigates officer-involved shootings like any other criminal case.
So even once the report is completed, let's say that took 6 months to get everything together, because toxicology alone takes some time. We turn in that report to the prosecutor's office. By the time they get around to the capacity of scheduling a coroner's inquest, it could take more time.
The next inquests that we're going to do are a little bit old, and it's time that we get them done and let the public know what occurred.
Missoula Deputy County Attorney Matt Jennings says that they completed 2 coroner's inquests this spring. Jennings says Missoula County has 6 more to do. He says the office hopes to do a couple more this fall, but finding the time can be a challenge.
For a law enforcement involved shooting in Missoula, we need to hire a coroner from another county that's a civilian coroner to come to Missoula and conduct them. There's only a couple in the whole state, and so some of that's often dependent on their schedules as well.
Jennings says one open case dates back to 2017. He says there's also a backlog due to COVID.
We hope that for these most recent shootings that we can turn these around in a relatively short period of time, though we also understand that for the public that may not feel like a short period of time.
In Missoula, Katie Miller, MTN News.
Up next, our Miller Robson. He's back in with another check of that Labor Day weekend forecast. Plus, the Gallatin Valley, well, it continues to grow. So we're going to show you how one transportation company is trying to accommodate for it. That's ahead.